What's up guys, and welcome to another exciting tutorial. Today we are going to create a lot of effects actually. So we are covering the effects I was using in the Anker headphones Soundcore 1 edit. I think it was for the Soundcore 1 headphones, the on-ear ones. I've created a couple of effects in this edit, and we are going to cover all of them. So to give you a quick introduction, so we are going to create that superhero landing. You requested this one a lot. I really enjoyed creating this superhero landing. Next up, I think we're going to cover how to shrink people. So the idea here was to cover the noise canceling feature of the headphones. So I wanted to visualize how we are going to shrink the noise, how it's shrinking the noise when you wear the headphones actually, which is pretty important if you work outside, if it's noisy around you and you have these nice noise canceling headphones. So we are going to cover this shrink effect, which is actually not too hard to create. Next up, we are going to create that effect of people. Next up, we are going to cover the effect how you make appear subjects, in this case people, really small. This is a pretty fun effect, and yeah, after we shrink something, we can show how it appears really small on the surface. And last but not least, we are also going to cover the headphone throw. So here we go, that's the headphone throw. You can throw anything. If you know how to do the headphone throw, you can pretty much throw any object. This is a pretty cool effect. You can throw your sneakers, your camera, your VR glasses, any object you can throw. Using this technique we are going to learn today. So a lot to cover. Let's start with the superhero landing. For the superhero landing, we pretty much just need one shot. I'm going to show it you here. So I'm going to show you the shot here. Pretty much, it's quite a busy street. I think it's the most busy street in Koh Samui. So it was hard catching a moment during the day, and Christmas time was like no people crossing and cars, so I don't die. So we actually nailed it. People were looking really weird at me because I'm like the weird guy just jumping on the street and then going inside of the coffee. Next up, I was walking or running back. Hopefully no one's going to enter the frame, and then I was tilting the camera upwards. So this is exactly the shot you need for the superhero landing. So we're basically freezing the first frame. We're going to create a rotoscope masking me. Then we're going to animate me, boom. And here we're going to go into the normal shot. And now I can walk out. And you might wonder, Keanu, why do we need that ending? Like, why do you tilt up the camera? Here we go, guys. We're going to reverse that because this is going to be the clip which we're going to see at the very beginning, flying in with that mask out freeze frame, mask out rotoscope, motion blur, boom, jumping into the normal first frame. So this might sound a little bit confusing to you. Don't worry, we're going to create it step by step. So first of all, throw your clip into After Effects and create a new composition by dragging the clip on here. So that is our new comp. I might want to drop the resolution to half so it's going to play back smoothly. All right, first of all, we need to cut the clip. So let's cut the clip exactly where I start jumping, about here. So here we can cut the clip with Command-Shift-D. The beginning we do not need. And now we are cutting exactly when my feet touch the ground for the first time. So this is going to be probably this moment. So both feet on the ground, right here. Boom. Let's cut the clip here again. And boom. Now I'm going in. So yes, here we are already out. That's the ending of the video. Boom. So now we are going to our clip where we tilt the camera, which is this one here. And we want to find the right spot where we start tilting. So we tilt the camera. So I think that's the first frame where we are at the final position, and start tilting upwards. Boom. And here we can just make a cut. So now we have separated all the layers we need. So this is going to be actually our first layer. So drag it all the way to the beginning. So you should separate your clip in 3 different clips now. So we are going to bring in some order in a second. So let's move them here to clip. So let's see what we've created. So we actually have the tilt up, we have the flying landing, and we have the final ending here. So this one we need reversed because we want to fly from top to bottom. And why do we need exact that shot? So make sure you make this tilt at the end because we are going to reverse it. So when we reverse it, we're going to land at exact the position the tripod is located. So I'm going to show you now. Right click that clip, time, and reverse layer. So option here, and let's see that. Boom. You see that? Because we didn't move the tripod and we're landing right at that clip. So that's a pretty clean cut. Boom. You know, you see that? Because we reversed, tilted up, we land at exactly the same position, you know? Because you won't hit exact the same position if you are trying to do that motion going from top down. You won't hit the same spot. So we are doing the jump first, record everything, and then at the end we're going to do the tilt up. So when we reverse it, we hit exact the same position. This is really important, guys. Have that in mind when you shoot it. So we call this one the reverse tilt. Then here, this is going to be our rotoscope because we need to mask out myself here. So this is actually going to be on the top. So the mask is going to fly here and then we are landing at that position. So that's actually how we need everything composed. So now it's matching pretty well. Boom. Yes. That's pretty cool. Make sure everything looks exactly like I've done here. Match everything to your best. Nice. Okay. Cool. So that's the exact starting point we need. Here at the end, I don't need that whole comp, so I'm going to bring in the top slider here, make a clip, and we press Command-Shift and not D. That was wrong. Command-Shift-X. So we are cutting our composition to exact the length we need. Perfect. This is already looking pretty cool. So next up, we are going to rotoscope that clip here. So go here to the top and choose the roto brush tool. Make sure in the main comp you have set the resolution to full, and let's double click our clip. To have less motion blur and a better better time rotoscoping your jump, make sure you increase your shutter when you shoot your jump to, I don't know, about 200 or 300, so you don't have motion blur when you jump. We can add the motion blur later, don't worry, but for rotoscoping and tracking, it's important to have crisp, sharp footage, so make sure you crank up that shutter, and yes, so it's going to be easier to rotoscope. Of course, you don't have to. You can follow the 180 shutter rule and have that natural motion blur, but you're gonna have a really hard time rotoscoping. So let's select our subject with the rotoscope tool here. This is a very bad example, or it's not a bad example, it's just a hard shot to mask, to rotoscope, because it's not really contrasty. At some points here, it goes from dark shirt to dark background, which is going to make it pretty hard for After Effects to find the edges and give you a correct or a good rotoscope. But no worries, we're going to fix that. And yeah, so you can select areas with your brush here. So it's green. When it shows the green color, you can select areas. And if you want to deselect areas, you just press Option. You will get this red minus brush and you can deselect areas. And now it's really important that we are drawing a really accurate first frame, because if the first frame is really accurate, we can just press spacebar pretty much, and After Effects is going to analyze all the other frames and hopefully get the frames right. So you can also increase and decrease the brush size, same as in Photoshop. In that case, just hold down Command and you can drag the mouse to change the brush size. So if you are having like big spots like here, it can make sense to have a big brush. But if you go into really detailed areas like the feet here, we want to decrease it maybe and draw a good selection. So take your time here to really make sure you have a good selection. As I said, the first frame is really important. And so let's make sure this is clean, clean, clean. Yes, sir. Boom, boom. Delete this one here, here. Nice, and nice, and nice. So yeah, the fingers is going to be kind of hard. We are going to make it, guys. We are going to make it. Really take your time. Just put in some music. Put me on hold and just take your time. Put the video on pause and really nail that first rotoscope frame. And yeah, I think this works for me. So yeah, cool. And let's press spacebar, and now After Effects is going to analyze the shot, and sometimes we need to just pause the clip for a second and correct the spots if needed. All right, nice. We have our jump. Let's go through that whole jump and see if everything is correct. I think everything is looking good. I think that works for us. Now you can preview that by going through frame by frame. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, so good result. Now here, just took that background. You don't need the background here. All right, nice. If you're happy with your selection, just click on freeze. And it's going to freeze the selection. This is really important that you freeze your selection, otherwise you can't work with your rotoscope. So it's freezed, and now we have that clean rotoscope. And guys, since we already coordinated and placed everything in the right place, you're seeing here what we have done. Boom! Already looking pretty good, right? There was not a lot. Nice. This is pretty cool. I like that. And now you see we have really hard edges here, so we can fix this, the hard edges here, by adding the refine hard matte. Well, we actually don't need it, because in this particular case we are going to add motion blur, since I'm flying from all the way from the sky down in probably a really fast-paced speed. We're going to add motion blur. But if you usually rotoscope something and you have these hard edges, just search for the refine hard matte effect and you will smooth these edges. So yes, but not necessary in this case. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to duplicate this comp, because you see we are missing like a long time. We don't see me because I cannot jump for like 2 or 3 seconds in the air. I don't know, I'm just not really good at jumping a long time in the air. And if you are, you probably don't need that step. You can just use your rotoscope if you have a long enough clip. But if not, if you only doing that short jump like I did, don't worry, got you covered. Press Command D with your rotoscope selected. And now we are going to freeze that frame. So go to time, freeze frame. And now we can extend that frame as long as we want and make sure we cut it here. So now it's going to look something like that. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. Before you freeze the frame, so Command Z, we're going back. Before we freeze the frame, we are going to pre-compose that because otherwise it's not going to work. Just pre-comp, move all attributes. Now we can go to time and click freeze frame. Nice. Now we can extend it. Command Shift D, cut the part before. And look at that. That is looking good. Nice. We are getting there, guys. We are getting there. So now we want to animate the position here for that layer. And we are also want to affect that layer because these are, one jump, right? So let's select both rotoscopes, the time freeze comp and the rotoscope we've created, and pre-comp them again. So we call this one rotoscope. We are going to move all attributes and boom, we have everything in one nice comp. So now we are going to animate scale, position, and maybe also the rotation. So bring up position with P, create a keyframe, click on that stopwatch, bring up scale with S, make that keyframe here on the stopwatch, and bring up rotation with R, pressing R and click that stopwatch. Nice. So since this is our final position, we definitely want to hit that final position at the end. We're going to drag them all the way to the end, to the last frame. So we are for sure at the right position to match that end frame. And now we can do whatever we want here at the beginning. So let's move that clip all the way up to the top. Let's say we want that scale to be at 0 and rotation to be at, 5. In the middle, we're going to -5. So we have that little bit of rotation going on. And now we're going to select all of the keyframes. We're going to keyframe assistant. So right click the keyframe assistant, and we're going to ease these keyframes. So this is looking solid, right? A good thing now, we can add a motion blur, but because we are jumping fast, right? We need to see motion blur. We are way too sharp. And we can fix this with a single click, single button here at the rotoscope layer. If you don't see that option, make sure you have the toggle switch modes here. Click on there and you're going to see that option. If you don't see the toggle switch modes, just right click here, go to columns and choose modes here. Now you don't see it. Now you see it. Boom. And then you can just activate the motion blur here, which is super cool. Boom. Look at that. In a second, we've created natural motion blur, and we're going to look at our animation. This is dope, right? This is cool. And I don't know, how long did it took? I don't know, 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes with rotoscoping. So I think that's a pretty cool and simple and easy effect. And boom, nice. So now let's add some smoke to make it a little bit more realistic because I'm landing here on the street. I actually grabbed the clip from YouTube. That's all I need, man. So here I just search for smoke debris impact overlay. Boom, this one is going to work for me. I just copied that link, threw it into clip grab, downloaded it into the right folder, and now we are going to press Command I and we are going to import that clip. Yes, please. And now let's double click on it so we can search for the right moment in time. And because we only need that short clip, there are a lot of debris here, but we don't need that crazy stuff. Just need that small one here. So yeah, that's roughly selected and drag it into a new composition. In here, we can make sure the selection is right. We don't need that part here at the end. So let's cut it. And at the beginning, let's make sure we start clean. Yes, that is clean. Cool. Now we are going to apply that key light effect. So search for key light, choose the color picker here, select green, and voila. We can use that. We can turn off the audio for sure. We don't need that. So now we can, just drag the clip in, that comp, that overlay. Let's click it above everything. Make sure we match the timing and scale. So okay, so it should happen around here. Boom, something like that. Nice, but we can actually put it below the rotoscope, so it's a little bit more realistic. So now you can see it's here. It's like below the rotoscope, and we could actually mask out my hand so it would be more realistic. Another thing we can do, we can set a blending mode to screen and drop the opacity a little bit. And now we can also draw a rough mask around the bottom here, because this is a pretty hard cut, right? So let's draw this mask around it. And now let's invert that mask. Invert the mask and... oh no, we don't need to invert it. Sorry guys. And now mask feather it, so it's going to smooth out the curve a little bit. Now we can play with the position of that layer, to make it fit. And yes, that's pretty much given a cool extra feeling. Nice. I think that's pretty cool. Boom. That's it. Guys, that's the superhero jump. Now we can add some more details. So let's pre-compose everything here. Boom. We call this one jump all in. Boom. Like that. Cool. And now we could add some camera shake. Since we shot from a tripod, we can add some camera shake because this is looking way too steady. So let's bring up the rotation and click Option or hold down Option on the keyboard and click on that stopwatch here. And now type in wiggle. So this is an expression. And let's try 2,2. Boom. And click here to the side. And now we should create a rotation wiggle. You can see here at the side it's rotating. So now to fix the borders, because here you can see we need to fix that, we can just apply a Reptile effect. CC Reptile. Come on, bro. Yes, thank you. Now we need to expand the edges. You can see here we can expand them actually. Expand down, expand up. And now it's just weirdly expanding the edges, which you can see here. But to fix that, you just have to choose the option Unfold. Boom! Nice. Another option is just to crop into your frame. But yeah, if you want to save the resolution, boom. Now, yeah, this is giving us some shake, and you can like play around with the parameters here. Maybe 1,2, so it's less impactful. That's cool. That's nice. So this is giving us some extra shake, and we could also add some scale and position keyframes to smooth things up. So we could, I don't know, go really in here, in there like swimwear, like that. Boom, moving out fastly. So let's easy these keyframes like that. And at the end, we can, I don't know, scale in again like that. So we have, so we like faking some camera motion, you know? And at the end, we can go out again to the full frame. I don't know, something like that. Is that cool? I think this is selling the effect really, really good. So nice. We have created the superhero landing in half an hour. So yeah, that's it for the superhero landing, which is not too complex. I think it's a pretty cool effect to start, and it's really impactful for the time you have to spend for that edit. Yes, I think this is super, super nice. next up, we're going to create that shrink effect. This is also a pretty cool effect. I think it's really nice. So let's jump right into the raw footage you need. So that is that effect here. So first of all, I have shot a clean plate. First of all, you are going to film your talent performing. Make sure this is again on a tripod. We are using a lot of tripods here, so the camera doesn't move. We can add camera motion afterwards, as you've seen in the last example. So don't worry about that. And yeah, get your shot. And then the next step is just move your talent out of the frame, or tell your talent to please leave the frame so you can just shoot a clean plate. Nice. So let's create a new comp, drag that in. So this is our comp. And let's also get the talent performing shot in. So we have both shots here inside of our comp. If I turn this one off, you can see it's a clean plate. Make sure your lighting is the same. So your lighting doesn't change, and make sure your focus is right. So we are using a really high aperture here, and yeah, make sure the focus is on manual so you can have exactly the same focus. Nice. The first thing we actually need to do is, again, we need to rotoscope. So choose the rotoscope tool, make sure resolution is on full, double click your top performance shot, and let's rotoscope our talent. So we just need to make sure we have a clean selection for our talent. You can do exactly the same like we did for the superhero jump. Make sure you make the clean first selection. Everything is going to look better if it's clean. So here, boom, boom. This is really hard to rotoscope actually in detail, but I think it's okay for this effect. And rotoscoping is a super important skill. You will quickly become faster in it. It's going to get really, it's going to feel natural if you've done it a couple of times. So at the beginning, you might not be that fast. Don't worry about that. Just keep doing it. And if you're happy with the selection, just press spacebar, and After Effects is doing the work. So while After Effects is analyzing, you can of course watch your selection and see if you need to correct it. I think I'm going to take that knife here as well. I should have moved it, but yeah, it's not a problem. Well, here we need to deselect it, and maybe this is where we are going to shrink him. Yes. So probably we don't even need that whole clip, because first of all, you need the bartender to shake that drink. Now he's moving backwards. But it's fine. Here we need to fix a little bit. We can freeze that frame and see where the best area is to make him shrink. That's looking good. I think that is all right. So let's freeze frame and quickly wait for that selection. The drink. Good soda. All right, nice. The freeze frame analysis is done, and we can jump back here in our main composition. So don't get confused here up to the top. You have the different windows. Well, this is our selection, our clip. We just double clicked here in the project window. On the top right, we have that window just for rotoscoping, and here is our composition window. So yes, let's see how that looks. Yeah, looking really good, looking natural. And now we are going to shrink our bartender. Let's search for a nice time. I think here's pretty good. We're going to cut the clip with Command-Shift-D. And now I want to edit the scale. But first of all, I want to define the position where our bartender is going to shrink. So the anchor point. The anchor point is pretty cool and pretty important here, because if I'm now just scaling him down, you see, it's looking weird because he's scaling down at some weird position here up to the top, because of course he is the anchor point. And if we are now moving that anchor point here to the bottom and we are changing the scale, Yes, this is looking right. Like that. So make sure you choose that anchor point tool here at the top and move it to the bottom here. And now we can bring up scale with S and make a keyframe. At the beginning, we are at 100%, and further in time, we want to be at 0. And now we can jump into the graph editor here and edit the speed graph, smooth that curve. If you don't see that speed graph, right click in here. Maybe it's going to look like that because you have the edit the value graph activated. Change to the edit speed graph, and you can draw this smooth graph. Yes. Maybe a little bit too fast, so let's move these keyframes further. Yes, that is cool. Maybe even a little bit more. Nice, cool. And now again, this has happened really fast, so we should see motion blur, right? You know, the button here at the bottom, activate motion blur on that layer and in the comp, and voila, we see natural motion blur. I love that button, man. Like, this is amazing. Cool. That is nice. And now we are going to create a kind of reverb effect because, of course, this is cool. We are shrinking him. It's nice, but I think the effect is more powerful if we have that reverb. So let's press Command D, and let's call this one number 2. This one number 2, and this one is number 3. Cool. And now we can move these 2 copies, 2 and 3, slightly back in time. Something like that. And now we have kind of that reverb going on. Nice. And now it's looking a little bit weird. I think we should set the blending mode to screen. Boom. And the other one to screen as well. And now we have kind of a reverb going on. Yes, that is pretty cool. You can also play around with placing them on top. So this could also look cool. And if the blending mode is too much, we can just set it to normal and just lower the opacity. So bring up the opacity, set the blending mode again to normal. Opacity, let's say 70. And that looks really, really good, I think. So, yes, that is the shrinking effect. It's also not too hard, right? You just need to get these 2 shots, your talent performing, and then you have to get the clean plate, rotoscope it, and just animate the scale. But first, set the anchor point, and then just duplicate that layer. Lower the opacity, and yeah, create the reverb a little bit back in time. Yeah, just move them a little bit back. Boom! You have created that reverb effect. Nice!